focus now, and we want to talk about pulses. In a bid to cut reliance on imports, the finance minister announced a 6-year program to boost the output of pulses in India. Measures include direct state agencies to buy the staple at guaranteed prices. Rising demand has forced India, the world's biggest producer and consumer of pulses, to spend a record $5 billion on importing pulses such as pigeon peas, black mapte and red lentils in 2024. The budget has allocated 1,000 crore rupees towards the scheme, which aims to provide minimum support price-based procurement and post-harvest warehousing solutions in respect of the three pulses. But how challenging is the execution? To discuss this, we are now joined by Mr. Bimal Kothari. He's chairman of India Pulses and Grains Association. Mr. Kothari, hi. Again, a very good directive coming in from the government, but it really is about the execution, isn't it?
Hi, Melissa. Thank you for inviting me to the show. As we all know that this has been a good move in the budget by the government, that they are looking at the self-reliance to achieve the self-reliance in pulses. In fact, Finance Minister spoke in her speech that we nearly achieved the self-reliance, but as you know, our demand is increasing and the pulses are basically grown in the rain-fed areas. So one bad season, we see that the pulses production, get very badly hit. From 16-17, when we had about 16-17 million tons of pulses, by 21-22, say next in another 6 years, we could achieve 27 million tons, which has been a record production. But from 27 million tons in last 2 years, we have seen that the production is on decline. From 22-23, it was 26 million tons, and in 23-24, it has been 24 million tons. So we have seen the production is declining. And the reason is the weather vagaries which the pulses has to bear, because as I mentioned, that the pulses are grown in the rain-fed areas. So the government's announcement on the pulses mission and allocation of 1,000 crore rupees is a welcome decision. But we need to see execution, whether this is enough to achieve the self-reliance, because that is the object of the government, to achieve the self-reliance. As I would like to mention, that India will require 40 million tons of pulses by 2030. So there is going to be huge demand, of the pulses, because pulses is staple food for us. We consume the pulses day in, day out. I mean, in every meal, we have the pulses, either breakfast, lunch, dinner, or snacks. We consume pulses in different forms. So pulses is very, very important food, and it is the major source of protein to our population also.
So, Mr. Kothari, we've seen the budget come out through now, and as you said, it's going to take some time, but we've seen a record import also happen in the year 2024. From here on, aside of the budget, even as we are looking at imports free for many of these pulses, what is it that the industry is looking for from the government?
Yeah, so I was in fact coming to that. So you see, it's just not that you just announced these steps. These are not enough. You need to do much more than beyond this to achieve the self-reliance, because the present policies are based on the minimum support price. We are government every year increase the minimum support price to encourage the farmers. But on the other hand, they are also allowing the cheaper imports. For example, you are aware, we have spoken several times on your channel that from December 2023 allowed the import of yellow peas at zero duty. So whenever there is a issue with the government, they immediately take the knee-jerk decision. They take the, harsh decision. This decision needs to be balanced. You see, when you are allowing the import of, say, for example, yellow peas, which the landing cost is 32-33 rupees, where is the minimum support price more than 56 to 80-85 rupees.
Sure.
So this is contradicting your own policy. This is a very allowing the cheaper import, it is definitely hurting the farmers. And this kind of message, the farmers get very wrong message, because the cheaper import, then they are not inclined to the grow pulses, more pulses.
Sure.
Despite of a robust monsoon last year, I don't think we have a significant increase wherever our demands are increasing. Though as Finance Minister announced that we reached the self-reliance, but what happened? Our demands are increasing. So demand, as I mentioned, it will be 40 million tons. So we need to have balanced policy. What we need to do, which we have advised the government several times, and we will keep on doing this, that the lending cost of the imports must be more than the minimum support price. So it doesn't hurt the farmers. And it will also take care of the interest of the consumers. And moreover, government is allocating 1,000 crore rupees. I say trade will give you 5,000 crore rupees annually. if if you have a dynamic duty structure.
Okay.
You don't need an allocation from your budget. We will give you 5,000 crore rupees. So you see, I mean, government needs to have a balanced policy so that we can move toward. I don't know whether we can achieve the self-reliance in next 5 years, but at least we can move towards the self-reliance, and we can decrease our imports, and we can have balanced pricing also, so that consumers are also not hit, the farmers' interests are also taken care, trade interest is also taken care, and the government interest is also there. So I think we need to have a balanced policy, and then look into this, because Manisha, we are going to have a very serious issue if this issue is not taken up by the government seriously. There has to be a long-term policy. There has to be a long-term vision on this.
Right.
These knee-jerk decisions are really hurting not only the trade and industry. Definitely, trade industry are badly hit in last 6 months, but it is hurting the farmers in long term, I am telling you. And if this goes on, I don't think India can achieve the self-reliance. So we need to really look at our policies, and we need to have a long-term vision. We need to ensure that by 2030, we are almost close to the self-reliance.
Absolutely. A very last quick question, Mr. Kothari, and this one is on the yields. We understand that India continues to suffer from that as well. Is enough being done on that front?
Yeah, I think more is required to be done on this. Of course, our research institutes are working on it. Government has also announced the steps to be taken to increase the yields, because our yields are very low. At the moment, we are growing the pulses in about 31 million hectares. I really don't think that how much area we can further cover. But even if we cover, it is important that we require to increase the yields, because if you really want to double the farmers' income, as our honorable Prime Minister always imagined about it, always thought about it,
right.
Which is a good thought, of course. And so then we need to increase our yields, because our yields at the moment are, if you look at even we compare with the world average, our yields are very low. So it is important that we need to work on the climate resilient seeds, because climate is becoming very erratic and very uncertain of last few years, what we have seen, and the way the global warming is happening. And also we need to look at the pest resilient seeds, and of course we have a lot of post-harvest losses. The budget has also allocated this 1,000 crore rupees to manage the post-harvest storage. So all these things we need to bring a lot of infrastructure. The budget is also talking about the agri infrastructure. So that is also going to help in the long run. So as I say, these are not the short-term policies. These are long-term policies, but needs to be implemented with more budget allocation. And as I mentioned, the trade is, if there is a dynamic duty structure, trade will only fund this kind of projects. So I'm sure if the government will look into it, and through your channel, I'm telling you, the IPGA is ready to work with the government towards this.
Mr. Kothari, thank you so much for joining in. Well, I understand the sector has gone through a lot, and we're looking at cheaper imports coming into the country. So I take your point, as you said, that the imports should be at a landed cost above MSP, dynamic duty structure, and long-term consistent policies is something that the pulses industry is asking for from the government. But with that, that's all the time that we have on this edition of Commodity Champions. Thank you for watching.